was one thing that set me apart from my friends. There was one thing that guaranteed my success. And I want to impart that thing to you guys now, because we are all largely men of color. We are Africans. And as black men, the world has stereotypes about us. There's a stereotype that you don't want to do nothing but play sports. There's a stereotype that you're not interested in doing your schoolwork. There's a stereotype that all we want to do is have fun, chase women, smoke weed, eat and sleep. Those are the stereotypes. And you're going to have to break down those stereotypes if you're going to realize the dreams that you set forth for your life. What is that one thing that set me apart? What is the one thing that's going to set you apart? That one thing is called discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what you don't want to do when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. You better develop it, because if you do not develop it, you will not mount too much in life. It does not matter how intelligent you are. We have an issue with discipline. And you will only go as far in life as the discipline you build into your personality. One of the white men who ran the program for the freshmen stood up in a room full of black boys just like this. His name was Mr. Joe Shredder, an Italian American. And you know what he said? In a room full of black boys from Philadelphia. He said, look to your left, look at all the boys to your right. I'm willing to bet you your last dollar that when you graduate in 4 years and walk across that stage to get your degree, most of the boys you see to your right and most of the boys you see to your left will not be graduating with you. And guess what? 4 years later, on May the 17th, 1997, when I earned my first 2 college degrees. I have 6 now, but when I earned my first 2 college degrees, I looked to my left and I looked to my right. And the prophecy that Mr. Shredder gave us 4 years earlier, that most of the black boys who started college with me would not be there to finish it. And guess what? He was right. What separated me from them? What's going to separate you from him? You from him? You from him? Your discipline. When I was in the library studying, my friends was out playing basketball. When I was in my dorm room doing my homework, my friends was out chasing girls. When I was studying for tomorrow's test, they was out smoking weed. When I was finishing my term paper, they was out at the frat house getting drunk. The only thing that separated me from them was discipline. I don't care how much talent you have. I don't care how much talent you have. I don't care how brilliant of a mind God may have blessed you with. If you do not have the discipline, dedication, persistence, and perseverance to develop your talent, you will be a waste of that talent. These are the facts, gentlemen. And I need you all to understand that life is not all about fun and games. Some of y'all play too much. There's a time to play and there's a time to be serious. And if you don't know the difference between the two, that makes you a fool. And too many of us play so much that one day we wake up and we're 20 years old. One day we wake up, we're 30 years old. One day we wake up, we're 40 years old, which is my age, and you realize you done played your whole life away. Get serious, fellas. Get serious. Young men, when you leave this world, when your body is put 6 feet under the ground, your name will be on a tombstone. And on that tombstone will be the day that you were born. And there will be the day that you left this earth. And between your birthday and your death date will be a dash. And that dash represents everything you did with your life from the day God gave it to you until the day God took it back. And I want to ask you, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Please don't think that luck is necessary to be a success. Luck is not necessary to be a success. Hard work is necessary to be a success. But guess what? If you want to be a professional, you don't need no luck. You want to be a doctor? You go to college for 4 years. And then you go to med school for 4 years. And then you do your residency for 2 to 4 years. You're a doctor. No luck is necessary. You want to be a school principal? You go to college for 4 years and go to grad school for another 2 years. You're a principal. No luck. You want to be a lawyer? You go to undergrad for 4 years. Go to law school for 3 years. 7 years after high school, you are a lawyer. No luck is necessary. You don't need no luck to make it in this world, but you need guts. You need hard work. You need a work ethic. If I look at your report card grades, if I look at your school test scores, how many of you are doing well in school right now? Raise your hand if you all straight marks, A's in school. Very few of you. What's the rest of you doing? Getting ready for prison? What is the rest of you doing with your life? Because guess what, young man? Guess what? You don't wake up one day. You don't wake up one day and all of a sudden decide that you're going to be a person of character and discipline. You have to start deciding that right now. You don't wake up one day and all of a sudden become a success. You got to start right now. If you lazy at 10 years old, you'll be lazy at 30. If you lazy at 12 years old, you'll be lazy at 22. If you lazy at 15, you'll be lazy at 35. You do not change unless you decide to change yourselves. Now you know why we got so many black men in jail. Now you know why we got so many black men breaking the law, not just in Grand Turk, but all around the world. Because when they sat in your seat, when they were your age, nobody told them that preparing for the rest of your life begins today, not tomorrow. Do you want to be a minimum wage poor man? Or do you want to be a successful black man? And the only way you're going to get there is through college and trade school. Now, some of you might not want to go to college, and that's okay. I went to college because I wanted to be a psychologist. You have to go to college to be a psychologist. But if you don't necessarily want to be an expert in a field that requires a college education, I need y'all to start talking to them young boys over here because they paying attention to y'all, not to me, fellas. Okay? Guess what? You can go to trade school. You can be an electrician. You can be a plumber. You can be a carpenter. You can be an auto mechanic. You can be a barber. You can be a computer networker. You can be a brick mason. You can be a woodworker. There's over 30 different legitimate trades that you can master by going to trade school. So if college ain't yours, that's all right. But you must go to trade school. Because I'm a psychologist who works in an office, but guess what? Somebody had to build that office. An electrician had to put electricity in my office. A plumber had to come in and install the water system. A carpenter had to come in and design that building. So if you don't want to necessarily use your head, learn how to use your hands. Because guess what? A man who can use his hands can always feed his family. A man who can use his hands never has to worry about going to bed hungry. A man who can use his hands never have to worry about keeping a roof over his baby's heads. I don't want you spending your whole life working for someone else. Black people got to get over this getting a job syndrome. I'm sick and tired of the getting a job syndrome. Yes, you will have to work for a little while. I had to work for people too, but I work for myself now. You work so you can one day be economically independent. I do not want you working for someone else the rest of your life. You want to be a teacher? Start your own school. You want to be a doctor? Open your own hospital. You want to be a lawyer? Build your own firm. You want to be an engineer? Start your own practice. You want to be in business? Open your own business situation. Because when you own the business, you decide how much you get paid. When you own the business, you can hire your brothers, you can hire your sisters, you can hire your cousins, you can take better care of your mother. Be a businessman. I'm not talking about making a lot of money so you can drive a Mercedes. I'm not talking about making a lot of money so you can spend $200 on a pair of Air Jordans. I'm not talking about making a lot of money so you can wear expensive clothes. I'm talking about making a lot of money so you can come back to Grand Turk and build a school, build a hospital, build a business, put people to work, improve the community. I'm talking about making money for the greater good of the community. When you have a career, you determine how much money you are worth. When you have a job, you pay whatever they want you to pay. If I don't go to work, does my pay get docked? Of course not. Because I'm not paid for how much time I spend on the job. I'm paid for what I do when I'm at the job. Do you want a job or do you want a career? Jobs are boring. Jobs are tedious. Careers are fun. Careers are interesting. With a career, you are expected to use your power, your mind power, your intelligence, your expertise, and your training to impact what you do. With the job, don't nobody care what you think. Just keep on doing until 4 o'clock come, check out, go home, feed your kids, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and do the same old boring thing again. You're going to be working for 60 years. Which one you going to do? Gentlemen, this is real life, and you better get serious about it. Life can be fun if you plan it right. Life can be hell if you think everything is fun and games. A time to play and a time to get serious. What am I saying? I'm saying that I don't care if you don't like school. I'm so sick and tired of you young brothers talking about what you don't feel like. I'm sick and tired of you young brothers talking about what you don't want to do. I'm sick and tired of you young brothers making excuses for being lazy and shiftless. You better remember something. Remember this, if you remember nothing else Dr. Umar said here today. If you do not learn to do the things you don't want to do, if you do not learn to do the things you don't feel like doing, you will never be in a position to do the things you want to do. Work comes before play. Play doesn't come before work. What are you going to manifest for Turks and Caicos? Are you going to manifest the school system? Are you going to manifest the hospital? Are you going to manifest the business to put people to work? What are you going to manifest? Because unless you bring forth something that benefits the brothers and sisters of this island, then you are a waste of time. These are the facts, gentlemen. I need all of you to start spending more time reading. Your problem is you don't read enough. When's the last time you picked up a book and read something that your teachers did not require you to read? You have to read. In my briefcase right now, I got 2 books. My hotel room, I got about 8 books. I don't go nowhere without books. When I came from South Africa 2 weeks ago, I had a whole suitcase full of books. They looked at me like I was crazy at the airport because I had to pay extra money just to fly my books. That's how important information is to me. When you read, gentlemen, 4 things happen. When you read, 4 things automatically happen. Number one, you. Stop talking. Number 1, when you read, your brain automatically picks up new words. You don't even have to study the words. When you read a book, you learn new words without even knowing you read the word. And one day you're engaged in a conversation and you're using words you didn't even know you knew. The greatest machine ever invented is the human mind. If you just put it to the book, it will take care of the rest. You have to learn that vocab because you're going to need it to pass those tests to get into college. You need that vocab because you're going to need it to pass the assessments you take right here on the islands. You have to improve your working vocabulary. And what do we know about young black boys? Whether you in Turks Whether you in Haiti, whether you in Grenada, whether you in London, Holland, Amsterdam, New York, or Los Angeles, your working vocabulary is about 3 years beneath your age. If you 16, you talk like you 13. If you 13, you talk like you 10. If you 10, you talk like you 7. And one of the best ways to improve your articulation of the English language is to start reading more material. Number 2, when you read, your mind picks up new facts and information. Your mind picks up new facts and information. You learn about the world you live in. You have to be knowledgeable about the world you live in order to change it. Number 3, when you read, you improve your ability to communicate with the written word. Because reading is a conversation with the author, and you learn the way the author communicates through the written word. And the last benefit of reading is when you read, you improve your ability to communicate with the spoken word. I will tell you right now, one of the reasons my elocution is so well is because since I was your age, I did nothing but run around with books. You better learn how to start running around with books. Put down that cell phone. It's a waste of time. Put down that tablet. It's a waste of time. Stop surfing the internet. It's a waste of time. Turn off the TV. It's a waste of time. If your parents were here, if your mother and father were here right now, do you know what I would tell them? If your mother and father were here right now, you know what Dr. Umar would tell them? I would beg them, I would ask them, I would plead with them for Christmas. When you go out to buy Christmas gifts for your son this Christmas, do not buy anything that will take his time, his attention, and his energy away from academic improvement. Most of the gifts that your parents buy you for Christmas and buy you for your birthday don't do nothing but work against your academic improvement. How many hours you spend playing that video game? How many hours you spend watching TV? How many hours you spend on that cell phone? And then look at how many hours you spend reading. If it was up to me, you would have no cell phone. If it was up to me, there would be no television in your home. Develop this, gentlemen. Develop this. In closing, I want you to study the lives of great black men. I want you to start reading the biographies and autobiographies of great black men. I want you to read about the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey from Jamaica, who built the largest Pan-Africanist organization in the world, who gave us the red, black, and green flag. I want you to study Dr. George Washington Carver, born in slavery, who gave us over 300 products from the peanut, over 500 products from the sweet potato, over 200 products from the soybean. I want you to study Dr. Lewis Latimer, the black scientist who wrote the textbook that taught America, China, Europe, and Canada how you can light up a whole city at night with incandescent light. Did you know it was a black man who taught the world to how to put electricity throughout an entire city? I want you to study Dr. Charles Drew, the black man who came up with the technology for how you can give somebody a blood transfusion. Study Imhotep, the world's first mathematician, medical doctor, and philosopher who built the Great Step Pyramid at Saqqara. Study Kwame Nkrumah. Study Jomo Kenyatta. Study Nnamdi Azikiwe. Study Thomas Sankara. Study Patrice Lumumba. Study Steve Biko. Study Robert Sobukwe. Study Sekou Touré, Kwame Touré. Who are these men? Malcolm X. Who are these men? These are what we call Pan-Africanists. I am a Pan-Africanist. I want you to be a Pan-Africanist. A Pan-Africanist is someone who believes that all African people are one people. Whether we live in Turks, whether we live in Nigeria, whether we live in Europe, whether we live in New York City or Philadelphia, we are all children of Africa. Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without blowing up the ground. They want rain, but they don't want to deal with the thunder or the lightning. You want the ocean water, but you're scared of the waves. Frederick Douglass said a man may not get everything he pays for, but you must pay for everything that you get. Frederick Douglass said, for 20 years, I prayed to God for freedom from slavery. For 20 years, I prayed to God for freedom from slavery, but the good Lord gave Frederick no freedom until I got up off my knees. Until I got up off my knees. Frederick Douglass said, if you want respect, stop looking for pity. The man who pities you will never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity. But most of all, young brothers, as I leave you, he said, remember this, that power conceives nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. I wish all of you luck. Whatever you become or don't become of yourself, blame nobody but yourself. Not mommy, not daddy, not the government, not the islands, not poverty. Look in the mirror, because God gave you 2 arms like everybody else. God gave you 2 eyes like everybody else. He gave you 2 legs and a brain. You have the exact same thing everyone else had when they came into this world. So make no mistakes for what you don't become. Make no mistakes for the shortcomings that you make of your own life. This is your life, and you decide how far you go in it. Marcus Garvey said, Marcus Messiah Garvey, the father of Pan-African nationalism, said, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. Without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated, gentlemen, in the race of life. But he said, Garvey said, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life, but with confidence, you have won even before you have started. Garvey was once asked, are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? And Mr. Garvey stood up and said, you asked me, am I African or am I Jamaican? I say to you that I would never, ever give up a continent for an island. I am an African. Thank you, brothers.